We begin at 10 with the latest on today's breaking news out of Pawtucket, where 2 people were killed. 3 others are hospitalized tonight in a shooting at the Dennis M. Lynch Arena. Thank you for joining us. I'm Mike Montecalvo.
And I'm Shannon Heggie. Breaking tonight, police have identified the suspect as Robert Dorgan, who does go by Roberta. Police say he was the father of a North Providence High School senior and shot 4 members of the student's family and a family friend before turning the gun on himself at the rink. Chief Tina Gonkovs says the call came in around 2:30 this afternoon during a senior night game between the Coventry-Johnston Co-op and the 4 schools making up the Blackstone Valley team.
The student's mother was killed inside Lynch Arena while a sibling later died at the hospital. The other 3 family members remain in critical condition at Rhode Island Hospital. And new this hour, Governor Dan McKee has released a video message to all of Rhode Island. Take a listen.
I want to talk to the families out there right now. Too many Rhode Islanders know what it feels like to lose a loved one, a neighbor, or a friend to gun violence. And a tragedy like this is incredibly difficult for people of any age to process. If you need support, please call 988 to speak to someone who is there to listen. Agencies across my administration are working together to provide additional mental health resources to students and families this week. I've spoken to the municipal leaders whose communities have been impacted by this shooting to assure them that they have the state's full support. Today, we are praying for Rhode Island and those who are suffering from this tragedy.
And we have team coverage of today's tragic events, beginning with Lauren Brill at City Hall, where officials gave an update on the investigation just a short time ago.
That's right. Pawtucket police say that they've been interviewing about 100 witnesses over the last few hours, trying to piece together exactly what happened. Now, right now, officials are still only saying that this appeared to have stemmed from a family dispute. They've also told us that the gunman acted alone. Now, take a look at this video from earlier this evening. This is from the scene. As you can see, a very active investigation. Investigators on scene for hours. Tonight, we learned from police that firearms were recovered from the scene, but the chief wouldn't speak further on this. Now, police say those 3 victims are still at Rhode Island Hospital in critical condition. Again, police confirming tonight the suspect is now dead, as well as 2 others. Our cameras captured authorities towing a van with main plates. Police will only say this could be related to the investigation, but again, haven't elaborated further. Now, officials also mentioned that a Good Samaritan jumped in to stop the gunman. We also learned more about the suspect tonight. Take a listen.
So what I can say right now that we have identified the person, the suspect, by a birth name. The birth name was Robert Dorgan. We have also learned that the person does go by the name of Roberta, also uses a last name of Esposito. But again, that will be all confirmed throughout the course of the investigation. We probably had about 100 people within the station that we talked to. We can also tell you that a Good Samaritan stepped in and interjected in this scene, and that's probably what led to a swift end of this tragic event earlier today.
Now, I want to send things over to my colleague, Kim Kalunian, who has been on scene all evening talking to witnesses. Kim, what are you hearing?
Yeah, Lauren, it is much quieter out here right now as we're about 8 hours from that deadly shooting that happened in the 2 o'clock hour earlier this afternoon. And a lone police cruiser is all that remains here outside of Lynch Arena after that shooting that sent student athletes, their friends and family running for cover.
I was very frantic. Everyone started running out of the building.
16-year-old Olin Lawrence was on the ice, the sophomore inside the goal for Coventry, when he heard a popping sound.
It's like mid-play. I heard a couple gunshots go off. I thought it was balloons at first. It was loud, and then it kept going on, so I ran right into the locker room after I got off the ice.
We spoke on the phone with Brandon Mello, the sports editor for the Pawtucket Times and Woonsocket Call, who said he wasn't sure what he was hearing either.
Well, one of the people that was in the score the penalty box area with said, "That's gunshots, get down."
Mello and Lawrence were among those who took cover inside until police arrived, but some ran from the building to nearby businesses, like the convenience store down the street, where surveillance cameras captured distraught families seeking safety, the shopkeeper locking the door behind them. Eventually, the young athletes and spectators were gathered together by investigators in this parking lot.
There's just a lot of tears and a lot of crying, a lot of hugging.
Some players walking in their socks, skates abandoned in the chaos before boarding buses to the police station where witnesses were questioned. Mello, who talked to other witnesses inside who say they saw the shooter in the stands, said it became apparent very quickly to the close-knit team what had happened and who was involved.
Well, everyone there knew what happened. Everyone knew who it was. So, yes, everyone knows who it is and that it was a domestic situation.
A tragedy that rocked what was supposed to be a joyful competition between two hockey teams for their senior night celebration, kicking off their school vacation week.
That was the worst part, to look in those kids' eyes and just see the sadness, and that really hurt me, because I know those kids and I root for those kids, and I hate to see that their childhood, they had to see this.
Truly a devastating series of events here this afternoon at the Lynch Arena in Pawtucket. Now, we did hear from the Rhode Island Interscholastic League earlier this evening. They say they are temporarily suspending all games out of respect for the victims and to take time to reflect on what they are calling a senseless act of violence. Live in Pawtucket, I'm Kim Kalunian, 12 News.
Kim, thank you. Earlier, a woman who claims that her father was the gunman spoke with WCBB in Boston following the deadly shooting.
The woman was exiting the Pawtucket Police Department with a man and child, but didn't give her name, only saying that her father struggled with his mental health and was very sick.
He shot my family, and he's dead now.
What was the reasoning? Was there a family argument?
He has mental health issues.
The woman claimed she didn't know which of her family members were killed in the shooting.
Reaction to today's events continue to pour in from both state and community leaders.
Rhode Island Congressman Gabe Amo thanked law enforcement for doing their best to help everyone who was on the scene.
And he also took time to remember the victims, saying, quote, "I'm saddened that gun violence has impacted another community. An ice arena should be a safe place for kids and families to come together. It's horrible that the memory of these teams' high school hockey senior night with families from across Rhode Island will be a tragedy."
Investigators are now doing their best to piece together what happened.
And that includes talking with eyewitnesses and speaking to the family of the victims. 12 News law enforcement analyst Colonel Stephen O'Donnell says police will have their hands full in the coming days, trying to use whatever information they can gather to understand the suspect's background and what led up to the tragedy.
The weapon, what the weapon was used, where that person got the weapon from. I know it won't matter if the suspect took their own life, but it may matter, where the suspect got that weapon. Did the suspect have a right to own a weapon? Did someone give that to them? Are they culpable in assisting that person? So the investigation is just beginning. There's much more that goes on to it. So that's a crime scene. Until they release that crime scene, they're going to have to check everything from ballistics to forensics to make sure they get everything, all the facts accurate.
O'Donnell added that the unfortunate reality is you should always be prepared when you're out in public.
It's not just for a school. It's not just for a hockey rink. Wherever you may be in another venue. When you walk in, you have to know where those exits are. If something happens, what direction you're going. It's unfortunate, but that's the world we live in. You have to be it's called situational awareness. You have to know when you get somewhere, if something happens, what do I do? It has nothing to do with a specific location. It has everything to do with where some type of violence breaks out. How do you be safe? That means either you'll run, hide, or fight. If it's right in front of you, you have to do what you have to do to survive. If it's somewhere you can run, you get out the door and go as far as you can. And then if you have to hide and you have to shelter in place.
Please stay with 12 News on air, online, and on the free 12 Plus TV app for continuing coverage of this story.